Good afternoon. Welcome to Songbird Homestead, otherwise known these days as the Shire, as I've been calling it. Everything is coming in so lush and full and just really taking a nice shape. So I am very happily out here this afternoon, sitting on my little foam pad, just tending to my tomatoes. I am a backyard homesteader up in the town and area of Northeast Maryland, Zone 7B, all the way to the top of Maryland, all the way to the right, just at the cusp of like Delaware, Maryland, Pennsylvania. Like we're all kind of like right on that little bit of a line right there. I've been here in my place for about 2 years. Welcome if you're new here. I'm happy to have you. If you are returning, I so appreciate that. I love hearing stories about, or stories from people who are like, oh, I watch your channel. Like people I know in my real life are starting to like mention it to me, which is really cool. So hello to you people. You know who you are. The last couple days I've gotten a lot of feedback. I put a video up a couple maybe early or mid last week, just venting about some stuff, and I'm gonna tell you, I got so much feedback. I and not a lot, but like enough that like I had people messaging me, I had family texting me, I had people that I ran into someone I hadn't seen for a while who gave me support, like just people who it really was just like a hug from God. Like, I was feeling some kind of way. I'm not going to go back into it. If you've seen the video, then you know. But I got so much reassurance, and that's not the purpose of this video, but I got so much reassurance from those people that messaged me, and like I said, had messages, stuff online, text messages, also like just really right when I needed it. It was actually just completely perfect. It was right when I needed it. And even there were some gestures that came my way that had nothing to do with that, where I felt supported and loved and encouraged and inspired. And not that I wasn't already feeling that, but I really I appreciate it. So anyway, so all my faithful followers, I don't have that many, but that's okay. I'm not here to change the world. I don't know, maybe one little person at a time. If you change one person, maybe that is indeed changing the world. So anyway, I'm out here today. I am pruning my tomatoes. We're finally at the point where they're like falling off. Some of them are kind of like falling over. I have a lot of extra foliage. We've had a lot of rain the last couple of I think we had like 4 or 5 inches in like 72 hours last week. So yeah, we've had a lot of rain, and then the sun comes out, so we've had a lot of explosive growth, which is cool, right? Anytime you see that. But so I need to come out here today and prune. You can see there's a lot of leaves hanging on the ground, and I know there are mixed theories and feelings about whether people, let's fix this, there we go, whether or not people prune, or whether you should prune or not. I am a pruner. I do like to prune my things. A couple of reasons. I don't know if let me just, here's the reasons that I prune. One, you can see these leaves that are hanging on the ground. So yeah, they're starting to look not so great. They get wet from being on the ground. The water splashes up, they get wet. The fungus will set in. It can ruin your whole plant. Also, imagine if I have a stalk and then I have like 6 or 7 leaves hanging down on the ground. That's 6 or 7 in addition to the stem, the main stem, avenues, or say bridges or walkways that can insects and bad pests, as we call them, can get up onto the main plant. So I like to eliminate the amount of avenues, if you will, that insects and bad pests or whatever can get up onto the main plant. Now, and I'm not going to go into all about pests, but something you can do is you can around the main stem, there are things you can put around that, eggshells. I've heard different things, you know. I don't do that typically. I just don't. I'm more of a, let me walk my garden every day and see if I notice anything that's, you know, that's happening, or any bugs. I'll pick them off, and good bugs too. You know, of course I'll leave those on there. But yeah, so that's another thing you can do. But like, by eliminating all this extra foliage and plants, you know, that's hanging on the ground, it just keeps all that away from it, you know. The other reason that I think it's important to, and I don't know, I mean, another reason that I think it's important too is you have this plant, and I'll show you some, well, you'll get the concept. Like, if this plant or these plants are putting all this energy out to grow leaves, and okay, now you have, instead of having a stem and a bunch of, you know, offshoots, if you have even more offshoots, then you're sustaining more life. You're growing more leaves. You're spending a lot of the energy and the nutrients that the plant is getting is being used to grow leaves. And you do need the leaves for photosynthesis, so you do need to leave some on there. And I struggle because sometimes I will butcher the heck out of a tomato plant. I come back to it, I'm like, oh my goodness, what did I do? But I've never done it overly to the point that like it doesn't produce. But I have over pruned before. But you know, so to reduce that, you know, obviously and there are different like this here, and let me show you, hang on. So here's the one I'm doing right here. So you can see I've got the main stalk, right? See all these extra things. Now I will tell you, this guy didn't go in when he should have. That's my fault. But you have all these extra leaves, like they're not going to produce anything. This guy right here, same thing. There's no sign of anything on there. So I'm going to cut that off. And actually what I'm going to do, I typically will cut it from the base up to where my cattle panel starts, and that's probably about 10 or so inches, maybe. And I will eventually, well, you'll see. Here's some that I've done. See how below the cattle panel there really isn't, maybe those, but they're small up there, so I haven't quite got there. But see this guy here? See how there's nothing hanging on the ground? Boom, and that could probably be pruned a little bit more, but like those, like see this same thing here. Like this guy, I haven't done this one yet either. Like I'll cut that off. Matter of fact, maybe yeah. Let's see. But so yeah, they're the reasons that I prune. So that's what I'm doing today. That's just a little bit of why I'm out here doing what I'm doing today. And it's funny because like there's so many things that, gosh, there's so many things the garden has taught me, and one of them that I'm thinking about today is, so it's about wasted energy, right? Wasted energy, wasted resources. Like this tomato plant, if once I redirect it, now obviously the tomato plant can't control that, but I'm going to do it for it. So once I cut away those extra branches and, you know, the foliage and the leaves and all that, the energy will be directed to something much more productive. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm out here, which is why I picked up my camera, because honestly, I was just sitting out here listening to some you know, some music, whatever music, folk music, anyway, I won't get into that, but to what I was listening to. But I'm thinking, like, as I do when I'm out here, I'm thinking, you know, how much energy and how much of my own resources have I spent over my life on stuff that wasn't fruitful, that wasn't productive, that wasn't like something good that was going to come out of it, that I wasted energy and stuff in the wrong direction. And it's okay, you know, wasting time, wasting a moment. Sometimes there's a Kings of Leon song, you know, waste a moment, which I absolutely love, because I've had to learn how to waste moments in my life. I've always been someone who, if I wasn't being productive or if I wasn't, I don't know, like I've had a hard time, and mostly in my adult life, and that's the result of some trauma, but I've had to learn how to slow down and relax, and that it's okay to be bored. It's okay if there's stuff to do. It's okay to walk away and take time to relax, and you don't have to be productive all that. So I've really had to learn that. But I'm rambling. I know I do that. If you follow me, you're familiar with that. But I'm thinking about how important it is to use our energy and our resources wisely, of course, and how sometimes wasting those resources is just, it's just a waste, you know. But that's one of the things that I've learned. That's my lesson for this week, for today, for this moment here, that, you know, about redirecting energy into something positive. This is the other lesson. I'm just thinking of this, all my lessons that the garden has taught me lately. The other thing that I've thought about, or that I've been thinking about, is about not giving up. And I know that's a very cliche, like don't give up, whatever, keep going, blah, whatever. But I had, and I think I talked about this I had snow peas, I had dragon tongue beans, rattlesnake pole beans, I had a bunch of sunflowers, and I really, really wanted sunflowers this year. Honestly, I was more devastated about the sunflower damage than I was the peas and the beans, and also my dill. They ate my dill. But I could have stopped. I could have just been like, well, we're not going to have beans this year. We're not going to have sunflowers this year. But no, I'm not going to let whatever that was, a groundhog, rabbit, whatever. And I know this is a very micro, like this is such a tiny little thing. But I'm going to, I've replanted, because, you know, you have to. You can't go, especially this way of life, all of this that we have going on here, you have to keep going. I mean, I had wanted to get melon plants into the ground. I'm just going to prune a little bit while we talk. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, you're cutting the whole plant. But no, I'm just cutting most of the whole plant. But you know, this way of life, there's a lot of things that are going to happen. Like I said, I had melons that I wanted to get into the ground, you know, beginning of May, but we didn't, the bed wasn't ready, so I was going to just put it do in-ground planting. And we had tried to I didn't want to till, I didn't want to run a tiller. Tilling is hard work by hand. I don't know enough about no-till gardening yet to have done that. So what I did was, yep, look at that. And then I found there's a weed underneath. See that? By eliminating that. Now this guy looks kind of sad. This probably wasn't the best example. But anyway, so my melon, none of that got done. The melons never went in the ground. And I'm like, you know, oh, well, we're not going to have melons this year. And then I was like, wait a minute. You know what? My husband was like, we had the seed. We have the space. We have the time. Let's do it. So today we laid plastic down, dug holes. I'll show you that in a minute. It really turned out good. I have 2 beds. I'll show them to you. But anyway, I'll show them to you in a minute and we'll go over that. But yeah, that was my other thing. I was like, you know what, not giving up. Like, you know, this way of life, you know, perseverance is required. Steadfastness is required. Yeah, there's going to be hard, and there's going to be tough, and there's going to be failure, and there's going to be all sorts of obstacles and things that are going to get in your way, things that are going to happen, that are going to try and steer you off course. But redirect your energy, right? Here we go. Let's bring it home. Let's redirect our energy to things that are going to keep us on track, that are going to keep us moving in the direction we want to move in. Ultimately, you know, that's, you know, you have a choice. Like, you can either keep moving and keep going forward, or, you know, and it's okay. And again, I was kind of funky the other day with this when I did the video, and I was, you know, by any stretch in the wildest dream would I have thought about giving up. That's not even my point. I just you know, there are tough days, and it's okay to have a tough day and whatever, but you have to, you can't, that can't be it, right? That can't be, you have to get up and you have to, you know, do the next thing, whether that's, you know, a bad day at work, a bad day with a, you know, a workout, with getting an education, building a business, a relationship, marriage, whatever, you know, you're going to have tough times, and there are things that are going to, you know, make you want to throw your hands up and be like, you know, what is the point? What is the, you know, what's the point? And I'll tell you, we had that happen last week when I had a really pretty bed of May lettuce that it was May Queen lettuce, I think is what it's called. Oh, we have a motorcycle coming by. And it was it was in one of my pepper beds, and it was 4 really pretty heads that were starting, and they were almost to the point that we could start cutting them. And my husband must have really been looking forward to it. And I was in the kitchen, and he doesn't know this. I was in the kitchen, and I saw him walk past the bed, and then he went back, and he just threw his hands up and then back down. I'm pretty sure I was lip reading, and I heard him say, or saw his lips say, a bad word. And I felt so sad for him, because I was like, oh, look at him. He's so disappointed. And then I was like, but we don't have to be, we can be disappointed, but then we can move forward on that. And when he came in the house, he was like, you're not going to believe it. You know, they ate our lettuce. They ate my lettuce, is what he said, even though I planted it, you know, but it was his lettuce evidently. But regardless, he probably would have eaten it. I don't love lettuce a whole lot, and it was kind of in that moment that I was like, for myself, I was like, oh man, I probably would have continued to be maybe disappointed. But seeing it in him, I was like, you don't have to be upset. We can replant it. Like, we can just replant it. It's okay. So seeing his disappointment and his situation from his point of view, outside looking in, I was like, no, we don't have to settle for that, right? We can just you know, keep moving. So we did. So we replanted. I replanted the lettuce. It's up. It's like this big already. Lettuce grows pretty quick. I've reseeded my dill. It's in pots. I bought some tall cloches. If you don't know what a cloche is, it's like an upside down mesh trash can, basically. It's, you know, different heights, whatever. I ordered some of them. They came. You know, I've replanted some sunflowers, I've replanted dill, replanted our beans. We're just going to try again, because ultimately that's all we can do, right? I mean, or I can give up, and I'm not about, you know, I'm not giving up. And anybody that knows me knows that I don't have that in my DNA. But yeah, so just out here plugging along, cutting my tomato, or pruning my tomatoes. I just take these and I throw them in my grass, and then my husband cuts it up. I'm all about, let me tell you, I am all about make your job as easy as possible. I throw it right in the grass, he can mulch it up, and that's that. But anyway, I just wanted to pop on here and say that I got a whole nother bed to do, and let me show you the difference. Actually, I was going to show you my other things, so let's do that. But first, I'll show you the tomatoes, then I'll show you the other bed, then we'll say goodbye, unless I can think of other things that I have to say. Okay, so the first bed I'm going to show you is the bed that I've already been working on. So you can see now these are going to be different sizes than the other ones. These are, see the difference here? And then, so this is my other bed. Now these did go in the ground quite a bit sooner than the first bed that I showed you, so they are a bit taller. But like, see this for example? Okay, here we go, here's one. See how there's like already has, that's gonna be flowers. But see this, like, see this branch right here? And by flowers, I mean tomatoes. But like, see this guy? This isn't going to produce anything. That's just supporting, or, you know, sucking up some of the nutrients for the tomato to produce the fruit. So you can see how quickly all those extra leaves will, you know, just reduce the amount of energy that's going towards the actual tomato. Yeah, so we have some, look at that, yeah. I don't think we have any baby tomatoes yet. Yeah, so I'm gonna come through here and take care of this bed. So, got a little bit to do yet before I go and make some dinner. Because we talked about it, I want to show you the bed that I was saying we worked on today where my melons went. Here we go. But before I show it to you, I wanted to say, you're gonna see part of the area where we had laid down, oh my goodness, we laid down, we had plywood boards, we had moving blankets that we laid out here, we had fabric we laid down, and nothing was really killing the grass, which is why it took us so long to get this. And then we were like, never mind, we're just not going to mess with it. But I had this plastic. We're going to go ahead, we laid it down, and I'll show you what we did. So, and I know the risk of the black plastic, the heat and the sun reflecting it, so I might lay some straw down once the melons come out. So, gosh, what do I have here? So I have, these are 2 Catania melons, and then these are 2 early girls, and these only get to be like 2 or 3 pounds, and these are Persian cantaloupes here. And again, that space is about, each one of these beds is like maybe 10 by 12. Oh, no, I'm sorry, maybe 12 by, maybe 10 by 12. There's one. And then this is the other one. So here we have 2 pumpkins, 2 Persian cantaloupes, again, and then I think 1 Cajo melon over there, I'm pretty sure. My husband did the tag, so I don't remember. What is this? Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm wrong. So those 2 are, let's go look, because now I'm confused. I think these are pumpkins. Yep, 2 pumpkins. These are Cajo melons, which he spelled with a J. He is showing his Hispanicness. Cajo with a J. It's actually spelled K-A-H-O, but he sees a J in there because in the Spanish language, a J makes an H sound. So I'm thinking that's what he did. And then this is a Persian cantaloupe, and then a Catania melon. So I don't know how well this is going to work, but I didn't have time to get the bed in, so we may do, and we're going to see, and maybe it'll work. And then I'm hoping it does, but if it doesn't, then we'll know, and then maybe this ground will be that much more plantable for next year. But the important thing is we didn't give up, right? So anyway, I feel like I've gotten long-winded. I just wanted to pop on here and just say how important it is to make sure you're focusing your energy on things that are going to be productive and fruitful. Tomatoes are fruit, but yes, productive and fruitful, you know, and all that jazz. So thanks for stopping by Songbird Homestead, aka my Shire. I hope to see you soon. See that little area? That's our new little sitting area. We'll talk about that later. Till next time.